On Saturday night, I'll be listening to Usyk versus Joshua, exclusively live on TalkSport, while I'm enjoying my Saturday night Chinese. Special fried rice, bosh. Special chow mein, bosh. Sweet and sour chicken balls, bosh. Sweet and sour chicken Hong Kong style, bosh. Salt and chili king prawn, bosh. Salt and chili chicken, bosh. Barbecue spare ribs, bosh. Roast pork Chinese style, bosh. Crispy aromatic duck, bosh. Chips, bosh. Prawn crackers, bosh. Curry sauce, bosh.
Bosh indeed. That was some fight, eh? What do you guys think about that? That was some fight. Hey, Brian Burke, by the way, good performance in the new camp. Let me get. I was looking for you, Brian Burke, to say that. Good performance in the new camp. We'll talk about it in the thing. Very, very good positive performance. I thought Leigh Wood was going to win this fight, you know. I picked Leigh Wood late stoppage. And I was very, very comfortable with my prediction. But Mauricio Lara is just one hell of a fighter. Listen, Gekeki is saying these Hearn rematch clauses are disgusting. Listen, this is a fight that, you know, we need to see it again. What do you guys think? Press 1 if you think we need to see it again. Not if you want to see it again, but do you think we need to see that one more time or not? What do you think? Press 1. Do you think we need to see that again? Or do you think Lara settled it that he is absolutely the better man out of the two? I think Mauricio Lara is a hell of a fighter, man. But do you know what disappointed me about that performance? What disappointed me about that was that we have so many fighters in the UK, right, that are overrated, right? Would you agree with that? We've got so many fighters in the UK that are absolutely overrated. And for me, Leigh Wood, in terms of technical boxing ability, for me, he's right up there in British boxing. Like, this to me, right, until that knockout was looking like yet another Leigh Wood masterclass. We saw a masterclass from Leigh Wood against Can Zhu, where he was the underdog in that fight. And for me, we were looking at another, with a few mistakes that he made, and we'll go through the mistakes Leigh Wood made, and Lara obviously deserved to win the fight, right? I just want to say, counting out a couple of mistakes here and there, that was a fucking textbook performance from Leigh Wood about how to deal with a pressure fighter and how to deal with a puncher. Just textbook performance from Leigh Wood, until obviously you make one mistake against a guy like Mauricio Lara and you can get wiped out. There are a couple of mistakes that he made in there, but for me, the performance as a whole was looking like a textbook performance on how you deal, yeah, with a pressure fighter. Lead hand control, using the reach. Yeah, Mauricio Lara isn't much of a jabber, but you can see Leigh Wood, lots of lead hand control, holding out the lead hand over Mauricio Lara's right hand, feinting the jab, popping the jab out, feinting him, and then you see something that you don't really see a lot of British boxers do, and you see Leigh Wood jabbing to the body as well. Just thought his jab to the body was superb. Something that, you know, I haven't, these are things that you don't see very much from British fighters. Very, very underrated tool when you're dealing with a pressure fighter is that jab to the body, that change of levels. And you see Leigh Wood jabbing to the body, and then he feints to the body and he throws a straight right hand to the head, and now he's landing a straight right hand to the head. I just thought the performance from Leigh Wood, yeah, in terms of, yeah, lead hand control, I thought, like I said before, his feet were excellent in terms of keeping distance behind the jab, not falling in behind the shots, keeping the shots short, excellent. Feinting behind the shots. Do you know, can I just say last week, can I just say one thing, please, before we get cracking? If you look, and here's a good comparison, if you look at someone like Adam Azim, right? Press 1 if you agree with me on this, press 2 if you disagree with me. And I know Adam Azim's a prospect, right? But if you look at the difference in quality of boxing between what we saw from Leigh Wood tonight against the incredibly dangerous pressure fighter in Mauricio Lara, and what we saw the other week, yeah, from fucking Adam Azim. Can you see the difference in quality? Adam Azim loading up on every shot, no feinting, no real changing of levels. Just Leigh Wood's just on a completely different level. The technical ability, you can see Leigh Wood there. I just thought it was some of the things he was doing there against a pressure fighter are absolutely textbook. There's just one mistake, and again, I hate to go through boxing cliches, but they do say, and I don't think it's always correct, but they do say, don't hook with a hooker. For me, Leigh Wood lost his fight, A, because Mauricio Lara was the better man on the night, yeah? But B, because Leigh Wood got too greedy, didn't he? He got too greedy, and like I said before, the one concern that I had about Leigh Wood in this fight, yeah, The one concern I had about Leigh up in this fight was what he was doing when they were close up. I saw two things from Leigh that I didn't like close up. One, exchanging too much when there's on the inside. Dominating the fight from the outside, but very, very keen to trade left hooks to the head and left hooks to the body. Very, very keen to trade left hooks to the head and left hooks to the body. Now, he was landing the left hook on Lara all night, but he was landing that check left hook going backwards. That's a safer shot, yeah? When there's a lot of distance between Lara, when there's a lot of distance between Lara, yeah? When there's a lot of distance between Lara, and Lara likes to lunge in with that left hook because Lara's not much of a jabber, then it's a little bit safer if your Leigh to throw that check left hook from that kind of position. And he was landing that shot all night. But on the inside for me, there was two mistakes, and Harry Chance mentioned one of them as well. One was he was a little bit too left hook happy up close. I thought he was going to get nailed with the right hand, because if you look at Leigh when he was on the inside with Lara, what he kept doing was he kept turning his front shoulder into a shoulder roll, which left him wide open for a straight right hand over the top up close. And I think that was one of the big shots that nailed him. He had a bad second round, Leigh. He was nearly dropped in the second round, and I think some of that came off of a short right hand up close. Let me know if I'm right about that. Let me know if I'm wrong about that. But those are the two mistakes that I saw from Leigh there. Up close for me, a little bit too left hook happy up close. Like when there's distance, when he was pouring away with the jab, when he was losing lead hand control, and Lara was struggling to get inside, and Lara was leading off the left hook, that was nice, yeah. Then when he lunges in with the left hook him off his own left hook. Again, that is textbook boxing against the puncher. That is textbook punching against the pressure fighter. Yeah, showed him space, showed him distance, pour away with the jab. He was adding feints that he was thrown to the body. Wasn't just touching the head, he was touching the body. He was feinting Lara low and coming up top. And then when Lara was lunging with the left hook, step back, left hook off his own left hook, spin, turn around. Beautiful, beautiful work. But there's two mistakes. Whenever Lara got up close for me, a little bit too left hook happy, particularly to the body. And again, he kept shoulder rolling on the inside for me. Every time Lara got to the inside, just turned his front shoulder, kept shoulder rolling. I don't know if they were worried about the right hook to the body, but every time he got up close, he turned his front shoulder a little bit too much, and he was wide open for that short right hand up inside. But other than that, Lara deserved to win the fight, and Lara proved, in my opinion, he's the better man on the night, because it's a fight at the end of the day. It's a fight, yeah? But I do feel quite a lot of sympathy for Leigh, because that is... Technically, he is levels above, right? Technically, he is levels above some of the hyped up shit that we've got in this country. And I don't know how you feel about that. We'll go through your comments. How do you feel about what I feel about there? Boxing Learner says Conlan is a better boxer than Wood, in my opinion. I haven't seen Conlan in a good while, actually. So I can't really comment. I've never been a big fan of Conlan. What do you think about that? I think Lara deserved to win. Lara's deserved champion. I would like to see a rematch, but Mauricio Lara deserves the right to do whatever he wants to do. He's coming away from home, yeah, and he's knocking out top British featherweights. That's the bottom line of it. He's coming out and he's knocking out top British featherweights. So Lara deserves the right. There you go. It was that second round, and it was the short right hand. It was a short right hook there that nearly dropped Leigh in that second round, or in that fourth round. I'm just looking at the replay here. I'm at a friend's house watching DAZN. Just Leigh, if you just watch him, every time they're up close, he's turning that front shoulder and rolling that front shoulder. He's wide open to the right hand, right hook. But actually what got him was the left hook. He hooked with the hooker. And the ironic thing, yeah, about the shot that he got caught with was his hand was high. It just caught him right on the point of the chin. And maybe he was a bit squared up when he threw that shot, and that's what did it. Maybe he was just a little bit squared up. But that was very, very ironic. If you look at Leigh when he got caught with that left hook, it wasn't even like he was being lazy and his hands were low. Just threw it from the wrong angle. Let's have a look here. Maybe just, I don't know, just a little bit too close. Let's go through your comments. I'm sorry about that. And I thought it was a very, very good stoppage, again, from Ben. Super Sardonic says, I'm one of box size Ben's biggest detractors, but I think he showed fantastic judgment with that stoppage. I think we've seen in two, but would you say again, is that a fight of the year candidate? Press 7 if you think that's a fight of the year candidate, Wood and Lara. Because if you look at the two fight of the year candidates we've had in the UK this year, which I would say would be this fight and Yard and Baturbiev, both of them fantastic stoppages. And again, I think Ben Davison gets a lot of disrespect, but Leigh Wood is a real boxer. I mean, some of the stuff that he was doing in there was superb. Hashim says, good stoppage. Wood was finished after that huge hook. Go again for the rematch. Teggy says, Lara was always in control to me. It was just a matter of time before he was getting knocked out. Does anybody agree with that? I don't. I thought Lara was hurt loads of times in that fight. I think they were both hurt in that fight. To me, it looked like Leigh Wood was in the ascendancy. I was pretty comfortable about a Leigh Wood late stoppage. Hurt Lara to the body as well. With a big right hook around there, just under the ribs or around the hip area. And you see Lara acknowledge it and go, he felt the power tonight. It was a good, they were both hurt in there. They were both hurt. Thomas is saying, Bellew thinks Ben should have let it carry on. Conlon fight was worse for Wood. But listen, you can't compare fucking Michael Conlon's punching power to Lara. Lara is in a whole different league. Harry Chan says, Conlon is a typical booth fighter, flashy then gasses. Sam Wakeford says, I think Leigh was trying to tie up Lara every time he got in close and have the ref separate them to stop the momentum. Yeah, but he was left hooking up on the side, isn't he? He was trading with a lot of left hooks. Now, what's going on ringside? Josh Warrington, again. Why do we need to see this guy on my TV screen, Josh Warrington? Press 9 if you had enough of seeing Josh Warrington on your TV screen. What the fuck is he doing ringside? You know, and apparently he's now had an altercation ringside with somebody. We'll see if Michael Benson's got it up on his Twitter page. But Josh Warrington's just got involved in an altercation ringside now, and he's arguing with somebody ringside. Why do we need to see Josh Warrington anymore? We don't need to see Josh Warrington ever again. He had 2 attempts at Mauricio Lara. Couldn't beat him in either attempt. He's not in the same league. Would you guys agree with me that in terms of boxing ability, Warrington ain't even in the same league as fucking Leigh Wood? We don't need to see Josh Warrington anymore. The guy's a glorified ticket seller. That's all he is. Glorified ticket seller, mate. We don't need to see that guy in the ring no more. So what the fuck is he doing ringside, yeah? Getting involved in it and shouting the odds out. But you hear what Eddie Hearn said afterwards, didn't you? He said there's a rematch clause, but he said, well, maybe, Lara fights Warrington again in the meantime. Because Warrington's a ticket seller, isn't he? So because he's a ticket seller, exactly, they're always going to try and shove him to the top of the queue. We should see Wood and Lara again. Wood should exercise the rematch clause, and he should go again. We don't need to see Josh Warrington in the fucking ring no more. Sick and tired of seeing this guy everywhere, man. He had his time. Josh Warrington's time was on BT Sport when he had that run with Frank Warren. Ever since he left Frank Warren, his career's gone to dust. I'm sorry. I'm just telling it how it is. Enough now. We don't need to see no more Josh Warrington, man. You're just a glorified ticket seller. That's it. Simple as that. Sick of this guy getting pushed to the top every time. Eddie Hearn in the ring afterwards saying, well, maybe we could see Lara Warrington. Why do we want to see that again? He's had 2 opportunities in his own backyard. What's Lara going to have to do? How many times is Lara going to have to go to Warrington's backyard and beat him? How many times? 4 times? 5 times? 6 times? How many times does Lara have to step into Warrington's backyard and bust him up? It's stupid, isn't it? We don't need to see it no more. Benjamin says, I'm happy Lara won, especially the way Eddie treated Lara's team. How did he treat Lara's team? Let me know about that. The Keggy says, I want to see Nick Ball versus Lara, please. Now, that would be a warder. Listen, we need to calm down on Nick Ball. Nick Ball is maybe not ready yet for that kind of level yet. Yeah, but Nick Ball's coming along nicely. Again, another Queensbury Promotions prospect. That's what they do at Queensbury. They build them from the ground up. If you know what's going on in that gym, in the Everton Red Triangle gym, then you know. Animals in that gym. Press 1 if you know about that ERT, that Everton Red Triangle. They are animals in that gym. Andrew Kane, Nick Ball, they are straight up animals. If you know about the ERT, they're serious individuals, man. There you go. The drop says about 12 people watched Frank's show last night. But prospects have got to start everywhere, see? That's what a few people don't understand about boxing. They think like prospects just fall out of their mum's pussy. They think that pay-per-view stars just fall out of their mum's pussy. They don't understand that all fights have to start somewhere. If you look at some of Deontay Wilder's early fights, the guy was fighting in fucking small hall shows, in hotels, in dinner shows, fighting bums and all sorts, right? And then he ended up working his way up and fighting in 15, 16, $20 million fights, yeah? Everybody has to start somewhere. But that's what casuals don't quite understand, innit? Casuals think that pay-per-view stars, you know storks. You know how some people think that women don't give birth? They think that storks just fly out of the sky and just deliver babies on people's doorsteps. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is how they think pay-per-view stars are. That's how they think stars are born. They just think stars fall out of nowhere. No. Nearly all the top fighters start at a York Hall, yeah, or a leisure centre, and then they build a following and they come up. That's the cycle of life, isn't it? Yeah? Not everybody can be a star, right? Boxing isn't just about pay-per-view. Boxing isn't just about stadium fights. Do you understand? Do you understand how boxing works? Don't know if you do, mate. Anyway, let's just keep going. Yeah, it just, do you think... Don't understand how boxing works, innit? Everyone's a pay-per-view star, innit? You fall out your mum's pussy, and the doctor fucking cuts off your umbilical cord, and next minute you're a pay-per-view star, innit? You're on pay-per-view. There you go, LD Phoenix. Crawford was boxing in car parks. It's just, everybody's got to start somewhere. It's cyclical, right? So you've got to promote all levels of the sport. There's nothing wrong with shows at York Hall. Let's go through some more comments. Harry Chan. Are we all forgetting Warrington just got beat by Lopez? I just think, guys, give me more of your comments. Tommy G. Glorified ticket seller that's beat Selby, Galahad, Kiko twice and Frampton. Comment Ultra, he's got a better resume than... Oh, it's the resume argument. Yeah, but if you listen to what I said, I just think Warrington had his day. I'm talking about now, Warrington. After being knocked out by Lara, you know, a couple of defeats, he is not the same guy that he was when he was fighting on Frank Warren. That's literally what I said. So, for me, he doesn't deserve to jump over Leigh Wood. That's my opinion, but it is what it is. Mauricio Lara deserves a lot of credit. I agree with you, Barker. Lara has earned a home fight for sure. Lara has earned. I think so. What do you guys think? I'd love to see. If Warrington fights Lara, Warrington should be made to go to Mexico. Put him on the same plane as Josh Warrington. How's Josh Warrington getting to Mexico to fight Canelo Alvarez? Yeah, EasyJet is it? Someone let me know. Do EasyJet do flights to Mexico? Let me know. Is that how John Ryder's getting over there to get smashed up by Canelo Alvarez? Put him on the same plane. Tell you what, best yet, yeah? See when John Ryder goes to Mexico to fight Canelo Alvarez, yeah? Put him in a fucking suitcase and then put him in the top of the plane, innit? Just bundle Warrington in a suitcase. Might as well. Don't even let him don't even let him sit in the seats with the normal people. I'll put him in the back with the animals. Let him go on the plane to on Mexico and fight Lara in his backyard. How many times has Lara got to go to Warrington's backyard now and get head butted out of a fight? I don't want to see that stuff, man. Let's have a look here. So, yeah, send Warrington to Mexico. Absolutely. Sarah Beck says, Ultra, if anyone in this world doesn't deserve a fight with Lara, it's Warrington. He came out in the rematch and headbutted the life out of him to get out of the fight. Leigh Wood deserves the rematch. Let me ask you a question. Who do you think put in the better performance, right? Josh Warrington against Lara or Leigh Wood? Give me a name. Who do you think put in the better performance? Leigh Wood or Warrington? Because as far as I'm concerned, Leigh Wood came to box tonight. Leigh Wood didn't come to headbutt. Leigh Wood came to box and he boxed beautifully. Leigh Wood boxed beautifully, but they tell you, don't hook with a hooker. We'll see. Sorry about that. Guys, any comments on the fight? Would you say that's a fight of the year candidate so far? Here we go. Here it is. So this is Josh Warrington and Mauricio Lara are clashing at ringside. Warrington says Lara spat at him, which sparked the altercation. So I'm going to play this. Hopefully it'll be all right because it's not actually... but there's Warrington ringside. Apparently Lara spat at him. So there you go. Warrington's trying to get up there. Well, if Lara did spit at him, then it's a different ballgame, isn't it? You can't legislate that kind of thing. You can't legislate that kind of thing. What do you think about that? This is the Warrington. What is Warrington doing there? What is Warrington doing there? Anyway, I don't know. It is what it is. Listen, if Lara did spit at him, I can't condone that. One thing I can condone though is the backside on this security guard here. We can condone that all day, but that's another story. Let's have a look here. The Drop with more casual comments today says boxer size Ben Davison out. Yeah, I would say let's blame it all on Ben Davison. Leigh Wood there showing some advanced technical ability and boxed a textbook fight against one of the most dangerous punchers at the weight and was boxing his way to a very, very wide decision / late stoppage, and he got caught with a classic left hook. Let's get rid of Ben Davison. Let's bring in Shane McGuigan. I say let's give him to Shane McGuigan. That's what I say. Let's let Leigh Wood go to Shane McGuigan. He can turn up like Adam Azim, innit? And turn up in fights and just stop fainting. Do you know what I mean? Turn up like Adam Azim in fights. No faint. Just load up on shots. No fainting. No ring generalship. No lead hand control. No advanced techniques. No nothing. Let's send him to Shane McGuigan. Tell you what. He can spar Caroline Dubois as well. I hear she's the next biggest thing in boxing. He can spar Caroline Dubois. Apparently she's the next big star in boxing. Knocking out people's grandmas on DAZN apparently. Here's what it is. I tell you what, the Drop. Why don't you go to Adam Booth? Why don't we send him? There you go. Why don't we send Leigh Wood to Adam Booth? Why don't we send Leeward to Adam Booth? Give him the George Groves, star, and he can go into the ring, with the widest stance in boxing. And his front foot and back foot will be covering the whole entire canvas, and he can go crouching tiger, hidden dragon, innit, like George Groves. Why not? Let's blame it all on Ben Davison. It is what it is. So it is what it is. Casual City today, isn't it? Jesus fucking Christ! Get these casuals out of here, man. Get these casuals out of here, man. It's been IFL TV, mate. Yeah, exactly. Let's go look. Yeah, send him down in booth. DJN1 says, if he spat at him, why is no one else bothered? They got spat on. We'll see. You know, Warrington is what he is, isn't it? Warrington does tell a few stories. Tommy G says the stoppage was sensible, saved him for another day. Let's see the comments online. Keep getting your comments in. Guys, can I say something? I'm not really too much bothered, yeah? But can I say my thing? We've got 185 people in here right now, and we've got 28 likes. That is slightly disrespectful, just slightly. If you have it in your heart to just hit the like button a few more times, that'd be cool. 183 people in here, 28 likes. If you feel it, have it in your heart, just hit the like button a few more times. You ain't even got to subscribe, you really. I'm not too fussed about Leeward and fucking Mauricio Lara. So you haven't even got to really subscribe, really. But it's up to you, innit? It is what it is. Let's have a look. Boxing Classics HQ says, will Lara change tactics next time? I don't think he's capable of changing tactics. Lara is what Lara is. I went for Leeward in this fight because, you know, Lara, he makes a lot of mistakes in the ring. He's incredibly heavy-handed, but it will catch up to him. He will get stopped down the line. He doesn't have any jab. You know, he lunges in behind his shots. He literally jumps off his feet with that left hook, doesn't he? He literally jumps out of range into range with his shots. And you see with Lara, again, it's a style that works for him. I don't want to be critical because he showed incredible heart tonight and he won. He was hurt tonight and he came back to win and he won fairly and squarely. But I'm just saying, from a technical ability wise, you know, if he gets in there with somebody who can take his shots a bit more, he's going to be in big trouble because the stuff that he does isn't technical at all. You know, he doesn't jab his way in, you know, and if you look at the stuff he does, his right hand could have been way more effective tonight, but because he kept leaping in behind that left hook, he literally jumps off his feet into range with that left hook, and he jumps. So when he jumps himself into range, and then he throws the right hand, he smothers himself on the right hand because he's got no control of distance because he's leaping from outside of range to inside of range. So a lot of the time he goes from being too far out to too close. And so he goes from being too far out to punch, he leaps in, and then he goes to being too close. And he ends up smothering some of his work. You know, simple things like if he actually started jabbing behind his shots and working his way in a little bit more, he'd be a lot more effective. You know, and again, he's a hard man. You know, he's got an incredibly awkward style because he doesn't do things by the book. Maybe that works for him. Not everyone should box like an amateur boxer. Does that make sense? Not everybody. To be a world champion in boxing, and I hope people understand, this is the big difference between amateur and pro boxing. To be a world champion in professional boxing, you don't need to have amazing technique. You don't. And Mauricio Lara shows that. You don't. Because the stuff he does isn't by the book. But he's knocking out and stopping good fighters. It is what it is. Kayla says, Wood was out. The trainer did the right thing. Lee Wood, okay, Googled him. The guy who survived against Michael Conlon because Conlon is a powder puff puncher. Richard says, the stoppage was fine, but I think the ref was slowing things down and would have helped get him to the corner to have a proper look at him. Was his title at the end of the day. Jack Blunt says, good stoppage. He was all over the place and one punch away from being seriously hurt. Some of these clowns commenting don't understand boxing or what a dangerous sport he is. Again, like I said before, get rid of Ben Davison. If Ben Davison leaves him in there and he gets sparked flat out again, everybody's going to say Ben Davison didn't look after his welfare. Press 1 if you agree, press 2 if you disagree. This is why you can't take any of these internet boxing experts seriously. It's just got an agenda, isn't it? Let's be honest. Like, what could Ben do? If Ben left him in there and he got flattened, like Tunde left Yard in there and he got flattened with the next shot, it would have been Ben Davison didn't care about Lee Davison's health. Do you know what I mean? Just no point. You can't win. You can't win with these guys on the internet. Iron says, Ultra, how are these Mexicans so tough and hit so hard? Martinez, Lara, Canelo, Ruiz Jr. I've got to be careful what I say there, but like I said, they're very, very tough individuals. Very, very tough individuals. And like I said before, Mexican fighters, they're battle hardened. If you look at how they spar, they war in sparring and they war in the ring. They're very, very, very battle hardened. And you know, my my impression of a lot of Mexican fighters is, you know, they are a lot harder. They're a lot less about technique, and they are more about fitness, heart, power, and will to win. And you got to give the Mexicans credit for that. Do you not think? Because Mexicans understand something that I've been saying for a long time. How many times have you heard me say boxing isn't as much as a chess match as what people think? How many times have people heard me say that? Boxing isn't as much as a chess match as what people who have never ever been anywhere near a ring think it's some kind of fucking amazing magical chess match. You hear this shit, a good boxer beats a good... By the way, do you see what I said tonight? You see all this, a good boxer beats a good puncher. You see all that crap got wiped out. It's all crap. Good boxer beats a good puncher. Boxing's a chess match. All this, it's all nonsense, mate. At the end of the day, right, you need to have, to survive against any good fighter, whether it's white collar, amateur degree, whatever. To survive against any kind of good fighter, you need the basics. You need to be able to take a shot. You need to be able to have fitness, all right, and you need to be able to have a punch. You need to be able to really have those three things. Mainly the first two. You need to have stamina, and you need to be able to take a shot. And Mexicans really do. They trade themselves on the physicality of boxing, don't they? They're big into the physicality. They're big on turning up in shape, aren't they? They're big on can you turn up in shape? Okay. Are you tough? Okay. Can you take a shot? Okay. And that, to me, they give that the primary over, okay, you know, do you have fancy footwork? Do you have fancy footwork? Do you do everything text? Do you know what I mean? What do you think? Press 1 if you agree with me, press 2 if you disagree with me. That's how I feel about it. That's how I feel. You know? And they're onto something. The Mexicans are onto something about that. There's no question about that. But boxing is a physical sport at the end of the day. It is a physical sport, mate. And a lot of fights come down to who's quicker, who punches harder, and who's tougher. And that's the bottom line about boxing. All this other stuff, people coming on making YouTube videos about magical tactics and shit, it's just a bunch of bollocks. A bunch of bollocks. I like Leigh Wiley. Is Leigh Wiley still working with Ben Davison? Fair play to him. I don't think they failed at all. I think. Can I ask you guys a question? What do you think about Leigh Wood's tactic? Let me get the poll in. Let's get a poll. 177 people in the chat. Let's just do this. Okay. Would you fire Ben Davison? And I want you to be honest. Based on that performance tonight from Leigh Wood, I wouldn't. But I want to ask you, would you fire Ben Davison based on how Leigh Wood boxed tonight? Would you? Have a vote right now on Ben Davison. I know people don't like him, but you seriously, after what you saw from Leigh Wood tonight, how he boxed, how he went about his boxing, you telling me would you sack Ben Davison based on what you saw from Leigh Wood tonight? I wouldn't. He got caught with a shot. Leigh Wood was on top in the fight and he got too greedy. Press 7 if you agree with me that Leigh Wood was winning that fight, on top in the fight, and he got too greedy. Threw a left hook, probably a little bit too close with the left hook, probably threw the left hook slightly from the wrong angle. And again, I don't like the boxing cliches, but, you know, is this fight just an example of don't hook with a hooker? And he got caught. George says, Marquez and Morales, Canelo, several examples of Mexican boxers are not brawlers. No. We agree with that. Listen, man. The Marquez brothers are just... I used to watch the Marquez brothers back in the day. Rafael Marquez, one of my favourite fighters from back in the day. I haven't watched the guy in about a decade. But when I was actually not boxing, and I was on boxing forums pretending to know about boxing, like a lot of these Muppets, Rafael Marquez, one of my favourite fighters to watch. Eric Morales, one of my favourite fighters of all time. They're great boxers. But then again, you switch it up and you say, but if you look at these guys, yeah, right? Rafael Marquez, Morales, Canelo, they all still tough. All still tough as nails. And when the going got tough, they could fight it out. Do you know what I mean? They could dish it out and they could take it. We've seen Morales, we've seen Canelo. They can dish it out and they can take it. So I know what you're saying, innit? They're not just brawlers, but even so, they're still physically tough. And I just think, like I said before, the Mexicans do get it right with that. I think the Mexicans do get it right with that. You know, are you tough enough? Are you tough enough to be in the ring? That's what it seems to me. It seems to me, you know, they do pride themselves on, are you tough enough to be in this ring? Once you're tough enough to be in this ring, we can work on other things. We can work on this and we can work on that. But first, are you tough enough to get in this ring? I'm not sure we look at it in the same way in other countries. I think in other countries, they look at it technical ability first and worry about that second. Mexican fighters are very, very physical for that reason. That's just my opinion. Let me know if I'm wrong. IM says, based on tonight, no, he shouldn't be sacked. Not Ben Davison. Based on tonight, no, he shouldn't be sacked. Not sure how long Leigh has been with Davison, but perhaps he could have achieved the same with another trainer like Fury moving on. Well, Fury's a once-in-a-lifetime talent, so, you know, it is what it is. Fury is a once-in-a-lifetime talent. There's Josh Warrington causing trouble. Fury's a once-in-a-lifetime talent, but I think Davison was with him when he beat Kanzu. And again, that was one of the best performances of the year. So it was what it was. Rob Wood says, 10 seconds left. Ref assessed and saw he could carry on. Should have let him back on stall and out for one more round. Could have pulled him out next round if it was the case. Bad call. So what do you guys think? Rob thinks it was a bad call. When Leigh Wood got up, he nearly fell down again. It wasn't good. And he'd been hurt before as well. He didn't look good. Ben knows his fighter, isn't he? It's a weird one for Ben because Ben knows him. Ben knows him better than we all do. So again, I'm tempted to give him the benefit of the doubt. But when Leigh Wood got up, it wasn't pretty at all. When he got up, you could see. I mean, he was stumbling around. He struggled to make it back to the corner. I mean, he was hurt bad. You know, would 10 seconds have done more? Iron says, I want to know what Tony's going to come in and say it's a bad stoppage. You know Tony. You know what Tony is. Tony's going to come in and tell you it's a bad stoppage. But you know Tony is Mortal Kombat, isn't he? Tony is Mortal Kombat on a boxing podcast. You know what Tony is. Tony ain't taking that shit. Tony will fight to the death. If you've seen Tony, you know what Tony's about. You know Tony ain't about that stoppage. Me, I'm much softer. That's me and Tony. Good cop, bad cop. I'm the good cop. Tony's the bad cop. You know Tony ain't having it. If Tony hears this, Tony's going to come on and say, stoppage was terrible. You know Tony. But Tony's been in the ring, you know, so he knows, didn't he? Tony's been in the ring, so it is what it is. And Tony's been in the corner, so Tony knows better than all of us, pretty much. Yeah, what do you guys think about the rematch? Damien says he still has a chance in a rematch. Do you guys think, press 1, do you think Leigh Wood wins in a rematch? Do you know what, honestly, if they were to fight in a rematch, I would actually go with Leigh Wood again. What do you guys think? That sounds crazy, but I would. 100%. If they had a rematch, I'll go with Leigh Wood. Because I definitely think there's an adjustment he can make. I think if he just keeps it long and doesn't engage on the inside. And the shot he got caught with again, it was a great shot from Lara. It's a shame because Leigh Wood had his right hand high as well. It wasn't even that he dropped his hands, he had his right hand high. But I don't know if he squared up or he threw it for the wrong position. It caught him right. It came right across his hand and just spun his chin around. Harry Chan is saying, nah, Wood is 34, Lara's 24. That KO would have taken something from him at that age. Well, I don't know about that, but we'll see. Katie says Lara will knock him out earlier. Iron says depends where it is. If it's Mexico, Lara wins. Nottingham again, possibly Wood wins a decision. The money, you would think the money is going to mean it has to be in Nottingham, right? Thomas says Lara stops Wood 9 out of 10 fights. He didn't get out of second gear tonight. I disagree with that, but Lara deserves credit, man. I don't give a shit, man. I want to see this guy, honestly. This guy, Mauricio Lara, yeah, honestly. I really hope he gets treated properly and has a home fight, man. I'm serious, man. I'm serious. This guy's come away so many times. It is what it is. There's Leigh Wood there. We'll see what happens here. So I'm just going to go through some more of your comments. Keep commenting. If you want to comment, I'll tell you what, as well. If you do want to talk about some other news, you're welcome to. So Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia is apparently going to be done. It's now signed by both fighters for April the 15th. Can I just say something very, very quickly? This is why on this channel, right, I'm not one of these channels that spends copious amounts of time calling other fighters cowards and saying, why isn't this fight happening? Why isn't this fight happening? He's a coward. He don't want it. Who don't want it? Who's delaying? Does that make sense? If this fight happens, right, if this fight comes off, can you imagine how much time grown men have wasted going on the internet calling these two cowards and saying who's delaying, who's ducking, and look, the fight happens. Sometimes fights just need time to happen. You know what boxing's like. Sometimes these fights take a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years to happen. And they happen. Do you know what I mean? And it looks like this is going to happen. Gervonta versus Ryan Garcia. Tell you what, hell of a fight if it happens. Originally, I'll go with Gervonta Davis by knockout, right? But Ryan Garcia's significantly taller, isn't he? Significantly taller in that fight. And he's got very, very quick hands. Be an interesting fight to watch. One of the fights of the year to watch. Let's carry on. I hope Mauricio Lara. So we're talking about the rematch. Charlie says every shot from Lara hurts Liam. Was busted up after 2 rounds. Well, I think some of that. Actually, no. I think was the cut from the heads or was the cut from that right hook? Let me know. I think the cut was from the heads, but let me know. But yeah, Lara is a very dangerous puncher. Let's have a look here. I'm just going from here. Super Sardonic says Eddie could expect a boy from his next missus, get a girl, and then ask for a rematch. Albert Ross says it will always be on his mind that he can't take Lara's best, but Lara can take his. It was a big shot. He got hit. I mean, it was a big shot he got hit with. I think you guys are being a bit too harsh with Leigh Wood. He got hooked off his own hook. And it happens in boxing, you know. He got caught in the middle of punching, yeah. He got hooked off his own hook. I think genuinely he got a bit too greedy. Like I said before, I don't think it's guaranteed that he that he can't beat Mauricio Lara in a 12-round fight. I think we need to give him a bit of a benefit of the doubt. Here we go. Oh my God, what's this? Josh Warrington did not hold back on Mauricio Lara. He should be fucking grateful. This guy's just one of the most unlikable people. But like I said before, if they do the rematch in Mexico, I'm all up for that. It is what it is. 22-year-old Mauricio Lara, there he is there. Blah, 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 blah. Let's have a look. Dench says it was a massive shot. He went stiff. Caught right in the middle of punching. Hooked off his own hook. Let's just quickly see. Just give me a sec. I'm quite interested to see what if the IFL TV interviews have started. Because I would like to see what Ben Davison has got to say about that. If you just give me 3 seconds, I'd just quickly like to see what the analysis is. Or does anybody know what Ben Davison said about that, or what he said? I think, like I said, we've been a little bit too harsh, because I think Leigh... what did you guys... I didn't watch the DAZN card as a whole tonight. What did you think about that? What did you think about the DAZN card? What did you think about the DAZN coverage? I didn't watch it as a whole. It wasn't something that I watched. I didn't watch it all, but have you got any thoughts about the card tonight? Obviously, I can't show the knockout, even though I'd like to. You know, blah, 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 blah. It is what it is. I can't show the knockout, but yeah, I'm just trying to get some a little bit of analysis there. Let's have a look here. Let's have a look. Warrington needs a trip to Turkey. Jesus Christ. It is what I'm just looking at IFL TV, looking to see. Exactly, Sam Wakeford. Hooks leave you open for sure. Risk versus reward. That's it. He got too greedy. For me, like I said, Leigh Wood just got a bit too greedy in there. But again, got to give credit to Mauricio Lara. Hell of a shot. You still watching at your friend's house? Yes, I am. Toby's here. Toby Players. What are Lara's hands made of? Man, the guy's a heavy puncher. And let me just have a look at the featherweight rankings. Can you just give me a sec? Addy in a post-fight interview said Lara is the best featherweight in the world. Let me just have a look at the featherweight rankings. You know me, I don't keep up to date with rankings, innit? I don't keep up to date with rankings. I just can't be bothered, really. The only thing I keep up to date with is being in the gym. When I can, that's it. All this other shit I don't care about. But let's have a look here. These are a little bit old, right? So these are about from a week ago. But these are the Ring Magazine ratings as of a week ago. Ray Vargas. I thought Ray Vargas got beat. Am I wrong about that? Maybe I do. I thought Ray Vargas got beat. Am I right or wrong about that? Let me know. Maybe I'm thinking of another Vargas. I thought he got beat by somebody. But let me know. And then you've got Mark Masago. Mauricio Lara, who's number 3. Who's now going to be a lot higher. The champion is vacant. Leigh Wood. Luis Alberto Lopez. Kiko Martinez. The less said about Kiko Martinez, the better. Again, actually, I'm not going to say anything, but yeah. Certain things in boxing are staring you right at the face. All you have to do is open your eyes and you can see it. That's all I can say about that. Dogbo at 10. Conlon's still in there. Robsy Ramirez. So, yeah. As you can see there, it's a bit... let's have a look what's at Junior. Just have a look at what's up the weight on 130. Just see. They've got Valdez. Oh, that's the one. Sorry, it wasn't that. Oshaki Foster, Joe Cordino. Okay. It was what it was. Yeah. Vargas. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, Vargas got beat by Foster. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, right. Okay, but you got beat a different weight. Okay, right. I understand. Right. Okay. Understand. Rob Wood says the zone is awful setup. The zone is awful set up through WWE Ringmaster, although commentary wasn't actually too bad on this occasion. Frocci's always pretty decent. Bellew was okay too. Yeah, it's good to see Tony Bellew back on. Good to see Tony Bellew back on the camera. I'd like to hear a little bit more from Tony Bellew on Conor Benn, given that the BBOC have confirmed this week that they have never ever received any explanation from Conor Benn on why he has had adverse findings. Also, if you look at this very, very interesting interview on TalkSport involving Robert Smith from the British Boxing Board of Control and Simon Jordan, something very, very interesting was said in that interview. And the interesting thing that was said was, in this interview, that as soon as the BBBOC were informed by the WBC that Conor Benn had an adverse finding, within minutes, Conor Benn's lawyers were on the phone telling the British Boxing Board of Control, this has got nothing to do with you, he hasn't failed a UCAT test. More on that coming soon. More on that coming soon. There you go. No joke. That's what Robert Smith says in his interview. Conor Benn, his lawyers, rang up the as soon as he had that first adverse finding back in July of last year, within minutes of the British Boxing Board of Control finding out, according to Robert Smith in this interview, his lawyers were on the phone to the BBOC saying, you've got nothing to do with this. He has not failed a UCAT test. You can't do anything about this. Stay out of it. Allegedly, according to Robert Smith in this interview. Very, very eye-opening and interesting interviews. I would love to get Tony Belly's views on that, but you know what Tony Belly is in it at the minute. Earning a crust out on DAZN, it is what it is. They better get that Premier League football. Listen, if you're DAZN, then Premier League football rights are up next year. You've got to get them Premier League rights. If they can't get those Premier League rights, I'm not so sure how much longer we'll be seeing Tony Belly on our TV screens, to be honest. To be honest. It is what it is. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but the way I feel about it is that yeah, that's how I feel about it. It is what it is. Legal action pending. Hopefully not against me, as I've said allegedly. And I'm only repeating what Robert Smith said in his interview. Let's have a look here. Guys are talking about Dalton Smith. That's when you know it's time to go to bed, isn't it? When people start bringing up Dalton Smith in the chat, you know it's time to go to bed. Dalton Smith. This is what I'm saying, yeah, about why I'm a little bit upset for Leigh Wood, because he boxes properly, you know. He really does box properly. I have to say, I really do like. I have to say, he's one that some fighters, right? They might not necessarily be your favourite fighters, but you just like watching them box. Like, they do things properly. They've got good technical ability. They've got good technique. You can see the way they go around solving the problem. Do you know what I mean? It's nice. It's good boxing. Boxing's a little bit like problem solving, isn't it? And you can see some of the way the fighters go around solving the problem, the shots they throw, what they do. For me, Leigh Wood's performance tonight, it was almost a textbook performance on how to deal with a pressure fighter. If he'd have won that fight, that would have been another performance of the year from Leigh Wood. I thought when Leigh Wood beat Kanzu, I thought him and Sonny Edwards, those were the two best performances of the year. That year was Sonny Edwards when he beat Mithanani and Leigh Wood. And for me, both of those fighters, Sonny Edwards and Leigh Wood, they both are proper boxers. Ingle taught Wood well. I think the Ingles are the best coaches in Britain. You know my opinion on that. Let's have a look here. Damien, why didn't Hearn just do Warrington versus Wood originally instead of getting them both beat by Mexicans? What do you guys think about that? Why didn't Hearn just do Warrington versus Wood instead of getting them both beat versus Mexicans? What do you think about how Matchroom have sort of gone about it? Mauricio Lara is a Matchroom fighter at the end of the day, right? But the way they've sort of gone about it, do you not think they've kind of... Maybe they've messed up there, Matchroom. What do you think? Do you think Matchroom have sort of messed up with the way they've matched Wood and Warrington, those two? You've got two guys there. I don't know how... I'm not into ticket sales or anything, but the fact that Leigh Wood's fighting at the City Ground, right? And I imagine he's got a few fans, right? So you've got Warrington who can sell tickets. You've got Leigh Wood who might be able to sell tickets. The two of them was never matched together, but Lara's come in. He was supposed to be a step over. Remember when he fought Warrington? He was supposed to be a stepping stone fighter for Warrington for bigger fights. He's come in and he's just upset the whole entire apple cart, hasn't he? Do you know what I think? Refugio Garcia is saying it's a cherry pick gone wrong. What do you think about that? Warrington has somehow come in and cleaned out the whole Matchroom featherweight stable. Well, I think he's probably contracted with Matchroom anyway, but he's come in it and he's upset the whole Matchroom featherweight stable, and there was no need for him to be involved in the first place, isn't he? Absolute disaster, isn't he? He's come in and wiped out two of their bigger ticket sellers, isn't he? I mean, I suppose you can argue for them. Maybe they'll make money in rematches. I mean, they've both got two big rematches there, haven't you? You can do the merry-go-round, can't you? You can do Warrington versus Lara for the 150th time, and then you can do Warrington versus Wood. What do you think about that? Let's have a look there. Go through. Jack Plant says Dalton Smith is massively overrated. Couldn't stop an area level guy again tonight and used illegal tactics a few times. There's some... I haven't really watched too much of Dalton Smith. I didn't watch him tonight. But there's certain fighters in British boxing and they get hyped up, yeah. And sometimes I watch them on their TV screen and I don't see it. I really don't see it, to be honest. I really don't see it. Can I just tell you something? Who I think's, I know you guys think I'm crazy. Just quickly, shall I tell you who I think's slightly underrated in British boxing? David Adele. I think he's actually underrated. Do you know why? Because I think David Adele has made massive strides in the last 12 months, you know. Big strides from David Adele in the last 12 months. And I've always said he is more well-rounded than Daniel Dubois. And I'm going to stand by that. I'm not saying he'll go as far in his career as Dubois. I think Dubois is world level, or fringe world level. David Adele is not world level. And I don't think David Adele will ever be world level at heavyweight. But I think that Adele as a fighter is just can do more in the ring than Dubois. And I've always felt that. Always felt that about David Adele. He can do a lot more in the ring against Dubois than Dubois can. Dubois is a straight jab, right hand merchant. Dubois does the same thing over and over again. Doesn't feint, loads up on his shots, only really throws 2 shots, jab, right hand. You get the occasional left hook from Dubois. Can you see what I'm saying? For Dubois, no disrespect, but Dubois is a meat and 2-veg fighter, in my opinion. Dubois is a meat and 2-veg fighter. He's a jab, right hand fighter. That's it. If you take away Dubois' jab, there's not really anything else there, you know. He's very, very one-dimensional fighter. I've seen David Adele do all kinds of stuff in the ring. I've seen opponents come up with a high guard, and I've seen Adele do a Lomachenko and break the guard and pull the guard apart and then fit the shots in, which I do in the ring as well, but at the bargain bucket level. But that's a very advanced technique when you've got someone covering up and you're literally pulling out and breaking their guard and then slipping shots in and fitting shots around their guard. That's a very, very advanced and hard technique to do. Like, some of the things I've seen Adele do in the ring, I'm like, Jesus, you'd never see Daniel Dubois do that in the ring, ever, in a million years. So Dubois is overall the better fighter. Dubois will be the better fighter, and Dubois probably have the better career. But I just think Adele, in terms of actual boxing ability and what they can do in the ring, I think Adele is capable of doing much more in the ring than Dubois is. That's my opinion. Make sense? Can you understand the difference between what I'm saying here, yeah? Dubois is better, but I think Adele is capable of doing more in the fucking ring, in my opinion. Randy Marsh says, world level in boxing is starting to become not too relevant. If RuPaul or whatever his name wins against Tommy Fury, he's top. No, he's not. He'd be top 40. He's not going to get a top 15 ranking. He'll be top 40, I think. He'll be top 40 in the WBC. I disagree with you about Dubois. His jab is world class. Dubois' jab is world class. There's no question about that. Harry Chan says Dubois is a knockout waiting to happen. I would agree with you. I've never been a big Dan Dubois fan. I've never been high on Dubois. Never. Adelaide versus Wardley. Too early for Adelaide, in my opinion. How do you guys feel about that? Press 9 if you think it's too early for Adelaide. Press 10 if you think Adelaide can beat Wardley. For me, it's a little bit too early. Just going to see. Let's see what they're saying about Ben Davison quickly online before we go. Who are your best coaches in Britain then? Mrs. Ultra, we're going to stop in a minute, so don't worry. We're done in 10 minutes, Mrs. Ultra. Let's have a look at Ben Davison here. Sonny Edwards is saying, if you don't think Ben Davison should have called the fight, then you're wrong. So Sonny Edwards thinks it was a good stoppage. I mean, these guys have been in the ring and taken shots, so what can you say? Sam Jones, Ben Davison needs loads of credit there because the ref should have stopped that. Ooh. Don Charles. Tunde, listen. I'd rather have Tunde than some of the other crap that if you gave me a choice between Tunde and Don Charles, I'm going to go with Tunde. Boxing Kingdom says, I hope Ben Davison starts to get more respect. His fighter had a perfect game plan when not many gave Wood a chance. I thought Wood was going to win this fight. It came on stuck with one punch and he jumped in before his fighter could get hurt. Seriously, elite corner work. Then Dan, oh, there we go. What do you guys think about this? Dan Raphael is disagreeing. This is Dan Raphael. About Ben Davison. Same Ben Davison who had Tyson Fury basically asleep on the canvas in the 12th round versus Wilder in the first fight and didn't throw the towel. Fury was much more out of it than Wood was, and there was still a long time left in the 12th round. For those of you who don't know who Dan Raphael is, let me just get a picture up. Just so you can understand that who some of these people talking about boxing are on the internet. Some of these boxing experts. Just so you can see like who some of these boxing experts are on Twitter. Like, Because it's interesting, you see a lot of people on the internet, they're experts in boxing, innit? They're experts in pugilism. Let's have a look. Just so you know, there you go. That's who we're talking about. So that's Big D Dan Rafael there. So just so people know, it's the guy on the left, that's Jordanis Ugas on the right, yeah? So just so people know in it, yeah, that's Big Dan Rafael on the left, yeah? So this is a guy, he's criticising Ben. He's telling us which fighters are okay to continue in the boxing ring and which fighters aren't okay to continue in the boxing ring. So, here's what it is. Let's continue. So, he's bringing up the fight. What do you guys think about that Big Dan's comment here? Do you think it's a valid comment? I think it's valid, but I'm not sure it's correct. What do you think about this? Ben Davison had Tyson Fury spark out on the canvas in a 12th round of Wilder versus Fury 1, and he didn't throw the towel in. And he's thrown in the towel tonight when Leigh Wood had 10 seconds left to go in the fight. Let me ask you. All right, someone's got it straight away. You guys are on the ball tonight. What do you guys think? I want to wait for you, and I'll read your comments out. Somebody in the chat has got what I was going to say straight away. Straight away, someone's nailed it. But Gary, I'll give you a second. What do you think about that comment from Dan Rayfield? Do you think Ben Davison's been inconsistent in the corner tonight? Allowed Tyson Fury to carry on against Wilder. Threw the towel in tonight against Leigh Wood. Correct. There you go. Fury wasn't stumbling around. Fury had his legs. You can see in it. Fury had his legs bouncing around. I think didn't Fury bounce around on his legs a bit when he got up? When he actually got up and the ref was looking at him and the ref checked him and said, "Are you okay?" And I think Fury just did a little jog. Didn't Fury do a little jog or something? And then obviously that was vindicated because people forget, Tyson Fury won the rest of that round. Did you guys not realise that? Exactly, Chevin. Fury hurt Wilder 50. He hurt him with a left hook like 15 seconds later. But people forget that, People forget that. Fury actually went on to hurt Wilder in the 12th round after being hurt. Ref asked Fury to walk to the side and come back to him. Now, if you look at Leigh Wood when he got up tonight, I can't show you, but he was all over the place. He was absolutely all over the place. What do you think about that? What do you think? Do you think Ben Davison's corner work's been inconsistent? Do you think Big Dan's got a point? Let's see what Dan's saying. This guy says Wood got dropped heavy by Conlon, but Ben didn't throw in the towel, and Wood managed to recover. So he's capable of doing it, but to not be given the chance is shocking. This is interesting. I do find it interesting. Let me know. Press 6 if you agree with me on this. If you agree with what I'm about to say, press 6. And if you disagree, press 5. I think that these fighters sometimes make decisions based on who they're in the ring with. And I just thought he knew Lara was a vicious puncher. But then again, you can say the same about Wilder and Fury. It's interesting, isn't it? That's an interesting comment. That he against Conlon, which I didn't see that fight. So you guys can let me know. I actually didn't see that fight. But against the Lara, but my impression was he knew what Lara was. Lara was a vicious puncher. Yeah, Thomas, Conlon ain't Lara. And I just think maybe that's what it was. He knows what Lara is. He knows Leigh Wood was hurt heavily in the second round anyway. And do you risk it against someone who's that dangerous? I don't know. But then again, he allowed Fury to continue against Wilder. And Wilder's really dangerous. Do you know what I mean? Like, Wilder's capable of killing the man in the ring with his bare hands. Wilder is really dangerous. So it's interesting. I find these arguments interesting. Nonsense. Not even close to being comparable. Tyson was up and moving fine and doing a bounce. That's what I said, didn't it? See, I did say that, didn't I? Tyson was up and moving fine and doing a bounce step. Wood was wobbling and still shaking and unstable on his legs a few minutes after the stoppage. 12 seconds left. One more punch from Lara could have had a catastrophic outcome. I mean, it comes down to it, Should you be at ESPN talking about boxing if you've never been in a ring before? I don't think you should. That's my opinion. All right? I'm not making any personal comments about Dan Rayfield. I'm just saying, my opinion is if you haven't been in the ring at all, not even for a spar, do you know what I mean? Not even for a fucking spar, yeah? Then, you shouldn't really be writing for ESPN because you don't really know what you're talking about. That's my opinion. Personally, I don't think you should even have a YouTube channel, but that's my opinion. But we'll get off that because I'll start upsetting people. Let's go through some final comments on Mauricio. I'm keen to see if there's any footage on IFL TV. Have they got going yet or what? Just give me a sec. Just want to see if IFL TV have got anything on this at all. Hold on. I just want to see if there's anything from Ben Davison. Raphael is pound for pound. Man's flicking at the jab like Muhammad Ali. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I was going to make a comment there, but I'm not going to chance it. But I was going to make a comment there about fast food restaurants, but we won't go down there. Who's worse, Raphael or Windhorst? Oh my God. I'm going to say Raphael. I think Dan Raphael's worse than Windhorst because at least Windhorst knows what he is, innit? Like Raphael actually thinks he could be a boxing. He actually thinks Dan Raphael actually thinks he knows about boxing. That's the problem. It's a problem that a lot of people on the internet have, isn't it? They've never put gloves on, but they think they know something about the sport of boxing. That's the problem with the internet, innit? People are experts in everything these days. Let's have a look here. Let's have a look at Matchroom's schedule coming up. Should we finish up with that? Yeah? Should we have a look at what's to come at Matchroom? Listen, DAZN need to get Premier League football, you know. I'm telling you, DAZN need to get Premier League football because let's see what we've got coming up. Is anybody here listening from America? Is anybody here listening from America? Because your DAZN money is about to go up. I'm hearing now it's $225 for a year of DAZN in the United States. Congratulations. $229.5 for a year of DAZN in the United States. Congratulations. As if having Joe Biden... I'm not going to go down that road, actually. Let's have a look here. What have we got here coming up? This was a good fight. Wood versus Lara. I mean, this card was a bit to begin with anyway. Do you know what I mean? I mean, this fight... I didn't sit and watch Dalton Smith versus Billy Adlington, okay? But let's put it this way. There were people online praying for this fight to end. I swear to God, yeah, I've never seen people on Twitter actually praying for a fight to end before, you know, until I see Dalton Smith versus Billy Adlington, you know. I've never seen people online praying for a fight to end. When you're putting on cards, yeah, and you've got literally like people online like praying for this fight to end so they can get to the main event. Things are sad, you know. There's only need to get Premier League football, you know, because if they don't get Premier League football, yeah, I think a few people are going to find themselves, you know, unemployed, you know, this time next year, you know, because it ain't looking too hot, is it? So Dalton Smith versus Billy Adlington. No, I did not put myself through this, but it was what it was. Jesus Christ. Chevron Clark, apparently this is a good fight. I do like the look of Chevron Clark. He looks like a cool guy. Chevron Clark versus Israel Doufus. Looked like a good fight. Gary Cully is somebody, I have to say, he does look a bit dangerous, doesn't he? I haven't really watched him, but he looks like a hard guy, doesn't he? And he looks like a bit of a puncher, doesn't he? Gary Cully. He might be one to keep an eye on. Gamal Yafai got splattered tonight, didn't he? So that's the end of Gamal Yafai. Because he got knocked down about 4, 5, 6 times, and that's the end of him. So no more Gamal Yafai on my TV screen. The less said about that, the better. And you've got JD Boston, who's supposed to be quite a good prospect. Aaron Bowen, who some people are cruelly calling... who are they calling Aaron Bowen? Sheamus. Do you not think that's disrespectful? This guy Aaron Bowen's having his pro debut. And people on the internet are calling him Sheamus. Saying, I didn't know Sheamus is turned pro. Do you think that's a bit disrespectful? Press 1 if you think that's a bit disrespectful. Or press 2 if you think it's not disrespectful. I mean, it's not his fault, innit? Like, why are you doing that? Look. I just think that's really out of order. So people are calling this guy Sheamus. There you go. Not in this video, but elsewhere. People are saying, I didn't know Sheamus turned pro. What's wrong with people? Guy's had his first pro fight and he's done really well. Give him a break, innit? Crazy D3 says Eddie's looking for Canelo knockoffs. Oh my gosh. Is there a way on the internet to... do they have... Let me just quickly check. Is there a way to Spanishify your name? Spanishify your name. Hold on. Can you Spanishify your name? Spanish character name generator. Okay. Can you generate a Spanish name from a name? Because what would be the Spanish name for Aaron Bowen? Can somebody give me a Spanish name for Aaron Bowen? And sell him to the Mexicans as Canelo. Aaron El Rey Bowen. Canelo's cousin, innit? It's Canelo's cousin. Put him one of them. How a Matchroom got a show in Mexico this week? Hold on, what's this crap they've got on? Hold on. What's this crap? Hold on a minute. Fierro versus Estela. This is in Mexico. So Matchroom have a show in Mexico, right? Why can't Aaron Bowen go on this? Top of the bill. Top of the bill. Look. Boom is saying Aaron Bowenito. Top of the top him. He's going to say he's Canelo's cousin and put him top of the bill. He'll shift tickets. Aaron de la Bowen. Canelo's long lost cousin, isn't it? Jesus fucking Christ. Games You Love says, just get Diamante to say it in the accent and we're golden. Why not? Why not? Why not? Liam Davis says, does Eddie have any UK champs? So let's quickly check the Matchroom stable. The problem with checking the Matchroom stable is that it's never up to date, is it? It's never up to date, that Matchroom stable, is it? Let's have a look. Matchroom stable. Yeah, Canelo's still there. Oh, UK World Champions. Well, Katie Taylor. Is Katie Taylor count? Oh, no, that's Ireland, right? That's Northern Ireland, right? No, she's the Republic of Ireland, so she's not part of the UK. So Katie Taylor don't even count, because that Republic of Ireland ain't in the UK. But look, Chantal Cameron. There's your answer, Liam Davis. There you go. Chantal Cameron, the undisputed. Undisputed world champion. Women's boxing's a joke at the minute. Isn't everybody undisputed in women's boxing? Have you noticed that? Everyone's undisputed in women's boxing right now. Everyone's undisputed. It takes about 3 minutes to become undisputed champion over in that boxing, innit? 2 fights and you're undisputed champion. Everyone's an undisputed champion over there, innit? Chantal Cameron, undisputed world champion. Fucking hell. Jesus Christ. Isn't Natasha Jonas quite close to being undisputed as well? She had like fucking 2 fights at 154. Natasha Jonas had about 2 fights at 154. Look at this. Is what I'm saying. A Cole is still on here. What's a Cole doing on here? What's a Cole doing on here? Yeah. Told you can't trust this Matchroom stable because they never update it. Lawrence Akole. What the fuck is he doing on here? Unless they still intend to tie him into that contract. Maybe Akole hasn't paid that $500,000 that they asked him for. Remember, they told Akole, if you want to buy yourself out of your contract, it's going to cost you $500,000. Same Eddie Hearn who famously said, listen, Tony, you lying motherfucker. Tony's saying Ben did a good stop unlike Tunde. Leigh was still wobbly. He had no legs, so it was a good stoppage. Rah! Tony, I thought you were going to come in and scream bloody murder. I thought Tony was going to call murder. Do you know what I mean? I thought Tony was going to come in and say, get rid of Ben Davison, get this guy out of here. We were talking about you, Tony. We were all thinking you were going to call it a bad look. Gabe, you were shocked. Tony agrees with the stoppage. Jesus. I thought Tony, Tony Mortal Kombat reviews there. I'll plug your channel in a sec, Tony. We're just looking at the Matchroom stable. So Cole's still here. Let's have a look. Ebony Bridge. Oh, Australia. Baumgartner. The less said about this woman, the better, to be honest. The less said about that, the better. I'm not going to make any comments about that. No, they've got a few. Terry Harper is a UK world champion. Look at this. Look, Terry Harper. She's a UK world champion. There you go. So Matchroom got plenty of fighters left. Plenty of UK champions worth there. I think Chantal Cameron probably the best of the lot there. Cough, cough, cough. Anyway, let's quickly see what they've got coming up. Looks quickly. Let's see what the #1 promotion in world boxing's got coming up. Next up, 11th of March. Jesus Christ, Terry Harper. She's got a great body, honestly. She really does. Let's have a look here. 11th of March. Before we go, I want you to score this card from me out of 10. This is our next serving up of boxing. So if you're a DAZN subscriber, all right, and you know me, I'm a huge fan of DAZN. So if you're listening to this channel, you know me, I'm a huge fan of DAZN. Subscribe to DAZN. If you're in America, get the DAZN yearly package. £225, $225 for the whole year. And I'll get you this mega fight on March the 11th. You'll get to see, if you're a DAZN customer in America, you'll get to see Callum Smith versus Paolo Stepian. Let's have a look at the undercard. Callum Smith versus Pavel Stepian. Fresh, you can see there, British boxing, fresh off the fight of the year. Yard versus Beterbiev. So we had Beterbiev in the country about 3 weeks ago. We have Beterbiev in the UK. One of the greatest fighters. Listen, Beterbiev's going to go down as one of the greatest light heavies of all time, yeah? All right? So we had Beterbiev on these shores 3 weeks ago. Now we've got Pavel Stepian coming in. Was this in the MS Bank Arena? Oh, as you can see there, yes it is. No expense spared at all. So there you go. Let's have a look here. We've got Liam Parrow versus Robbie Davis Jr. We've also got Diego Pacheco versus Jack Cullen. We've got Johnny Fisher, who's in the ring with Alfonso Damiani. We've got Mickey Eliasson versus Thomas Whitaker Hart for the Central Area Light Heavyweight title. Central Area is always an interesting belt, isn't it? We've got Central Area fights on there. We've got Rhiannon Dixon, who is in the ring for the Commonwealth Lightweight title against Vicky Wilkinson. Keith Viaz versus Dean Dodge. I actually do know who Dean Dodge is. Those of you who know a little bit about your small hall boxing will know who Dean Dodge is. I think is he one of our WBM fighters or not? He's not. I think he might be a Mark Nelson fighter though, Dean Dodge. I'm not going to say anything about Dean Dodge because he's no joke. He'll knock me out. And look who's below the card. Look at this. Look who's below the card here. Campbell Hatton. Now, listen. I know Tony's a big fan of Campbell Hatton. George is saying Adam Habanero Bowen. Habanero Bowen. Let's have a look at this. Look. Do you think it's now time to pull the plug on this Campbell Hatton experiment? I mean, no disrespect, yeah. When you're below Dean Dodge, yeah, on the in the MS Bank Arena on this card, do you not think now it's time that we sort of pull the plug on this guy? His opponent is Michael Gonzi. How do you? Let me see. Who? Matchroom is supposed to make. Eddie Hearn's always saying, "Go on company's house." Matchroom make millions and millions. Isn't it true, right? Isn't it Eddie Hearn's always saying, if you go on company's house, you'll see Matchroom make millions. If they make so much money, how come they can't find photos of the fighters who the guys are fighting? They can never find the photos, can they? Have you noticed that? It's always got the TBA photos. Let's have a look. When I put Michael Gonzi in Google, this is what comes up here. I hope it's not this guy. Mind you, knowing Matchroom's matchmakers, it might very well be. Let me put in boxer. Hold on. Sorry. It's a bit unfair, isn't it? Nothing comes up. Hold on. Is this guy a hologram or a real boxer? Nothing comes up when you put this guy's name in Google Images. Eh? Eh? Nothing even comes up. Oh wait, he's BoxRec here. Let's have a look. How do I know this guy's a real person? Because anybody can make up somebody on BoxRec, right? How do I know this guy's real? How do I know this guy is not an avatar? He just could be an avatar. I think we found him. There you go. Maybe I should become the webmaster for Matchroom.com, seeing as I can do a better job of finding opponents' photos than they can. Here he is, Michael Gonzi. He's from Italy, 29 years old, 5'7", 4, 2 and 1. Okay, let's have a look. He was beaten, when was this? In 2021, in a 4-rounder somewhere in the middle of Germany. There you go. This is the guy who's topping the bill. So when Michael Gonzi was fighting in Germany, that's who was topping the bill. No expense spared bringing these opponents in. Tony's saying Campbell Hatton has the footwork of Elite, the power of Mike Tyson, the speed of Roy Jones, and the chin of Joe Joyce. Jesus Christ, you might be right. Jesus. I think, Tony, on a serious note, yeah, it is time to end this Campbell Hatton experiment, you know. Like, I'm not being funny. If Campbell Hatton's a big ticket seller, then why is he this low on the card? Am I right about that or wrong about that? If he's such a big ticket seller, wouldn't you think he'd be higher on the card, yeah, than below Dean Dodge and Akeem Fias? Look, man, just give it up with this guy. It ain't going to happen, innit? Do you know what I think, innit? Like, give it up with this guy, man. No disrespect, but it ain't going to happen, is it? It ain't going to happen. Turn pro too early. He's not going to be a world champion. He's turned pro too early. Problem when you turn pro is, yeah, how much longer can you keep feeding this guy tomato cans? Do you know what I mean? How much longer can you keep feeding this guy tomato cans? It's just getting ridiculous. George Lidard. against Daniel Prezelovic, and then we've got Paddy Lacey versus James McCarthy. So if you are an American subscriber, I believe DAZN is now $24.99 a month. Am I right about that in America? DAZN, $24.99 a month. Listen, like I said before, in America you get charged 70 quid for a pay-per-view. So maybe it's good value. But for the month of March, I'm just telling you, for the month of March, you will be getting Callum Smith versus Powell Stepi, and you will also be getting, Tony, I hope you're listening, Cyrus Pattinson will be topping the bill against Chris Jenkins. So there you go. So that's what you're getting for your $24.99 in the month of March for DAZN. Cyrus Pattinson topping the bill against Chris Jenkins for the WBA. Oh, look, Pat McCormack's also on the undercard as well. Against his opponent, Dario Sochi. There you go. 15 wins and 7 losses. Solomon Dacarez on the undercard there. Against Ismay. There you go. Rob Ismay is going to be fighting Solomon Dacarez. There you go. We've got Hopi Price, Mark Dickinson, Callum French. Jesus. Muhammad Ali. There you go. The man himself there. Muhammad Ali will be on the undercard. There you go. So you are getting value for money on DAZN then. You're paying $24.99 for the month. You're getting Callum Smith and Muhammad Ali in the same month. So I don't want to hear anybody criticising DAZN anymore. That says it all. $24.99 for the month of March. Yeah. You're getting Callum Smith and you're getting Muhammad Ali at the same time. There you go. Muhammad Ali versus TBC. Not even TBA. TBC. Not even TBA, you know. Not even TBA. What's the difference between TBA and TBC? To be announced and to be confirmed. Jesus Christ. It is what it is. And then you've got the debut of Maisie Rose Courtney, who will be fighting Bushra El Qazi. Bushra El Qazi. The Butcher. We'll call her the Butcher. Let's just get an idea on this opponent. Bushra El Qazi. There you go. That's the opponent for. That's the opponent for. Maisie Rose Courtney versus Bushra El Qazi. 2, 4, and 3 from Spain. Someone said Pat Butcher. Might as well be Pat Butcher. Jesus Christ. 39 years old, 2, 4, and 3. Where do they find these people, man? Like I said before, look, there are big problems, yeah, with boxing, with this type of boxing. Let's put it this way. You guys know what I mean. There are big problems with this type of boxing and some of these opponents and where they're coming from, you know. I shit you not, some of them aren't even good enough to box white collar. I promise you. Some of them aren't even good enough to box at white collar level. And I'm telling you that for a cast iron fact. Right. Let's finish up then. I hope you've enjoyed tonight's show. Should we quickly see Queensbury? Because we slagging off Matchroom. What are these Muppets got on? Supposed to have Usyk and Fury. Oh, it's Jake Paul and Tommy Fury. Jesus, look, Queensbury actually have a fucking full schedule. When was the last time Queensbury had a full schedule? Wow. You know Queensbury's website's nearly bare, isn't it? Queensbury, their website's nearly like stone, you know, nothing in it. Empty cupboard. They've actually got fights to put on. Unbelievable. Oh, hold on. Daryl's here. Lara's spitting was disgusting. So he did spit at Warrington. Okay, then I'll take that back then. He did spit at Warrington, did he? That's absolutely disgusting if he's done that. There's just no excuse for that. He deserves to get his head taken off. What do you guys think about that? We slacked off Josh Warrington all night, but if Lara did spit him, then he does deserve to get his head taken off for that. He does. There's the altercation for the 50th time. Let's quickly have a look at what's going on here. Jake Paul, Tommy Fury. Guys, give me a quick name before we go. Paul and Fury. I'm going with Tommy Fury. I went with Leigh Wood tonight, so I'm probably going to be wrong again. But I've gone with Tommy Fury. Mark Tibbs is going with Tommy Fury as well. Saw Mark Tibbs, but I'm really trying to find out who Billy Nelson's going for. I'm actually going to get in contact with Billy Nelson. You know, do you guys remember on the last show, I DM'd Billy Nelson? I said to Billy, I said, I said to Billy, I said, where's my shortlist of Martin Bacoli opponents that you promised me? That I asked you for by DM the other week. And Billy Nelson came back to me and said it's at your bird's house. So that was Billy Nelson's response. Let's have a look. There's Billy Nelson's response. Jake Paul, Tommy Fury. There you go. And that is next week. So there you go. Live on BT Sport Box Office. There you go. It's finally on. It looks like Tommy Fury is actually going to show up for this one. Let's go through your names who you think. Crazy D3 is going with Jake Paul. Keggy's going with Tommy Fury. Daryl's going with Jake Paul. Tony's saying Jake is going to spark Tommy. We'll see. Games You Love is saying Jake Paul KO. Dench is saying Fury. I'll be wrong with you again. I'm going with Fury. Tommy's saying Fury. Oh, excuse me. I can see Tommy going through him. Frank Warren thinks Tommy Fury's going to stop him. I think Frank Warren's on crack. Perry thinks Tommy Fury. There's a few of you. It's a bit split, isn't it? It's more leaning towards Jake Paul. But there's a few of you going with Tommy Fury. Do you know what my prediction is? I predict that on Fight Week, a lot of people are going to switch to Tommy Fury on Fight Week. That's my prediction. On Fight Week, when Tommy Fury actually turns up, I believe they're going to... I believe a lot of people are going to switch to Tommy Fury. That's what I think. But I'm going to go with Tommy Fury on points. I could be completely wrong in that, but I'm going to go with Tommy Fury points. But I've been wrong before, and I'll probably be wrong again. But that's what I would go. Righty-ho. Is it a 6 or an 8 rounder? Does anybody know? I think it's 8, isn't it? It's an 8, isn't it? Yeah, Tony. Tommy's going to show up. I think is he in Saudi Arabia? Tommy, I think he's already there. Can somebody let me know? Because last time I saw Tommy Fury, he was at the airport. Like he literally took a photo at the airport, ready to go. I think he's already there. Jake Paul's there. Jake Paul's already in Saudi Arabia, and I think Tommy's already there. So I think Tommy is going to turn up. I think he's already there. What's this? Should we quickly see this? This is Tommy Fury's sparring partner warning to Jake Paul. What the fuck is this? Tony saying it's 10 rounder. Okay, it's probably 10 rounder. We'll wait and see. There you go. One sec. Just want to see if Tommy's there or not. Right, so according to Jake Paul, Tommy's there. Tommy Fury boarded his flight to Saudi. So there you go. I think the winner's going to be ranked top 40, not top 15, Tony, but let me know if I'm wrong. Top 15 is a disgrace, but I think it's going to be top 40 apparently. But yeah, there you go. Apparently this is it. Tommy, yeah, sorry, it's just from Tommy's Instagram. Tommy is on his way to Saudi Arabia. No, I don't think Tommy was ever afraid of Jake Paul. I think that was all bullshit. I just don't think Tommy was ready. Simple as that. I think he trained for the first fight and he injured himself legit because he's never trained properly for a fight before in his life. Well, for a professional fight in his life. He trained properly for this one. He got injured in the UK. Obviously, they got the MTK thing around, so he couldn't get to America. No Fury can get to America because of Daniel Kinahan and the MTK thing. So no Fury can get to America at the minute. So I've never thought Tommy Fury was scared of Jake Paul. I do think Jake Paul's the favourite to win the fight, but I've never thought Tommy Fury was scared of Jake Paul. And Tommy's turned up. He's on his way. He's there. This was a couple of days ago, 2 days ago. He's there. So. Like I said before, win, lose or draw, I don't think Tommy Fury's ever been afraid of Jake Paul, whether he wins, loses or not. And it is what it is. And I think if Tommy boxes to a game plan, he can get out there and get it done if he boxes to a game plan. He's very herky-jerky, a bit like his brother at times. So I think he's actually got the style needed. I think, look, can he take a shot? We don't know if Tommy can take a shot. You know, Jake Paul, we know Jake Paul can, you know, it can dish out a shot. So I would say Jake Paul's the favourite to win because Jake Paul's been more battle-tested, isn't he? He's more battle-tested at this level, you'd have to say. But then I look at the styles and I just think Tommy has the style to do it. I think Tommy's very herky-jerky, very feinty. He's got quick hands, quick feet. He knows how to foot feint. He knows how to feint with his hands and his feet. All the things that he needs to throw off Jake Paul, who, in my opinion, Jake Paul's just a big right hand, in my opinion. All the things he needs to beat Jake Paul will have. He has the jab, he has the quickness of hand, he's got the quickness of feet. He knows how to draw leads from the opponent, and he knows how to he'll know how to draw a lead from Jake Paul by foot. And that's what he'll do. He's going to stand against Jake Paul. He's going to foot feint. He's going to feint with the hand. He's going to feint with the feet. Tommy's going to be very herky-jerky. He's going to step in, step out, foot feint. He'll try and draw the lead of Jake Paul, make him miss, and he'll try and work off that. Counter him, work off it. We'll see. And that's what I think will happen. I think Tommy will use fast hands, fast feet. I think, can he take a shot? We don't know. But I do think Tommy Fury has very quick hands and quick feet, considering he's got a bodybuilder's build. And I think we saw that in the amateur fight we watched of him last week, didn't we? We watched the amateur fight of him last week, and he actually looked pretty good, didn't he? So, again, this isn't the amateurs, but I do think Tommy's got a bit of ability there, and I do think people are writing him off a little bit too much. But, as the Keggy says here, Jake Paul beat Anderson Silva, who did beat Chavez Jr. Even a past it, Chavez is still an okay. No, I watched Anderson Silva, but beat Chavez. Anderson Silva can box. So, it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, the argument is, though, Tommy Fury isn't a 40-year-old man. So we have to question that. But then again, yeah, Anderson Silva can definitely box and has always been able to box. So it's interesting. But I just think, I could be completely wrong. This could be egg on my face, but I'll say this in closing. Resumes don't win fights. As I've always said that. Resumes are useful tools when you want to discuss rankings and things like that. Who ranks higher than who? If you like to spend copious amounts of time coming up with your imaginary pound for pound list. And resumes are great, but resumes don't win fights. Styles win fights. And let's just see what happens. Be interesting to see what happens. But I do agree with you that Jake Paul's win over Anderson Silva does make him the favourite to win this fight. If you're putting your mortgage on it, I would say put your mortgage on Jake Paul. But if you're like me and you like to live dangerously, I've got a feeling Fury might shock a few people. Take care of yourselves. And take care of each other. And hit the like button before we go, because I didn't even plan to do a show tonight. Bloody hell.